Hey everyone, I am going to be talking about the Propagation operational record now. The first story of it is Phantom Worker. It is a warm world with massive globular masses of gas, within which numerous consumable items float or fly. You adore the soft organs that can slide down your throat without chewing, and you also fancy the hard bones that make a crunchy sound when you bite them. Because of your genetic instincts, you resist the urge to feast on the food. The scholars call it the wisdom of swarm, of which you are unaware. You inflate your abdomen, and glands appear at the spot where the stinger is supposed to be. You mix your location and scent in a secretion, and can't help adding some hunger into it before squirting it out. The wind in the universe will then carry the pheromones of the Phantom Swarm King around until they reach the antenna of its peers. This looks a bit like, this whole thing has to do with the swarm. The symbol itself also kind of reflects that. In a way, the swarm that goes like through the simulated universe and the swarm that's described in the databank, it sounds more like hungry, eating everything, destroying on its way, and then this one seems to be more based on preserving, not eating too much, making sure that there's still left and all that kind of stuff. It's a weird dissonance between the two. Next one is Afterglow Worker. When the wings cease fluttering, they stiffen beyond control, unable to be tucked in a carapace. The brain of a tired and aged insect doesn't allow you to digest such a complicated concept. Not to mention you're just an ordinary sting whose lifespan is so short that you do not even reach maturity. Dragging along your dead wings, the memory of your species will tell you where to go. The Afterglow Swarm King urges you to get rid of the food on your tarsi and proceed to your place of birth. But even such a short distance seems insurmountable to a dying sting like you. In the freezing vacuum, thousands of stings that are busy flying around suddenly pause their work. They carry you to that destination where you will join the rest of the larvae's food. So there's like a bunch of different types of swarms, it seems. The previous one was the Phantom Swarm. This is the Afterglow Swarm. The Afterglow Swarm sounds a bit like how we have the glow bugs in real life. Maybe it's based on those. Starcrusher Worker. Does an unceasing urge to destroy everything in sight exist? Although all enemies have been eradicated, yet the anger surging within the metabolic cavity as you wriggle your body still have nowhere to be released. However, the carapace of the food has already ruptured, meaning it can no longer resist. The body capable of spewing flames is brutally torn apart for your offspring to feast on. The star has long fallen, becoming prey in the collapsing gravitational field, and you still remember how delicious it was. Death. Please bring about more deaths. The call from the Starcrusher Swarm King rumbles in your exposed brain matter. You see a new world, complete and beautiful, with its atmosphere uncorrupted by insect venom. Living beings are waiting to be disintegrated by the death ray. You spread your wings and set off to the next feast with your companions. This one is more like the Calamity that we were talking about, where it's destroying everything because it likes to do so. And honestly, the boss that you fight in Honkai also uses some sort of beam, so maybe it's from the same species. Calamity Worker. After climbing the great glaciers of Terranon, you gobble down the last remnants of your food supply. The far north of this planet is so barren that you don't even have the energy to propagate. Because of that, you won't be pursued by those steel beasts. You plow through the snow on the surface and nibble away to the hard ice covering the mountain. Beneath the ice lies a thin layer of grass, which is a sign of life. Finally, you would be able to accomplish your mission. You keep the eggs, full of offspring, in your belly and shield them from the wind and the snow with fur. You climb to a windward valley and lie down peacefully. Death will soon befall you, even without the enemy's bullets, but when the winter passes, your offspring will hatch and feed on your frozen corpse. This place will then belong to the newborn swarm. This doesn't really sound like a full-on insect. It was talking about having fur? Being chased down and then dying in the ice hoping that your babies are, healthy. It sounds a bit sad. Deceiver Worker. The flames of war spread across the sky, combusting even the clouds. The insectoids baring their teeth and claws rush to their deaths and then fall limply. Meanwhile, you hide in a corner of the ruins, using colors to camouflage your body. Survival is a great deception. You forsake your primal form, coating your exoskeleton with ashes and mud, and making your 6 legs gleam like bricks and tiles. The faces of prey on your fangs weep, and cries for help resonate amid the scent of blood. Your enemies melt in the pits, and your offspring are born with their bellies full. Yet you are still not satisfied because the war has yet to end. You aim to diminish your size, even removing your exoskeleton. You need to morph into a weak appearance and imitate your enemy's mouths until they embrace you as a friend, until the bountiful stores of food are open to you. It sounds weird to get rid of your exoskeleton, but it does remind me a little bit of the creatures that people talk about called skinwalkers, or people that are able to transform themselves. For the next one, I do not have the rewind function, but I do have the rewind function open on my second screen, so I'll just be reading it for you guys, but I will not be able to give you much of a visual for it. Child of Calamity, crunch, crunch. The craters of Progeny see no light. You close your eyes, and waves of the tide slap on your tympanal organ. It is the buzzing of the offspring, the carcasses of the hunt hanging from their tarsi, and their jaws chewing on their spoils. Crunch, crunch. Sounds of elytra colliding and grinding can be heard from the craters. That is the rapid marching of the offspring, bearing gifts of sweet, fragrant flesh before you in offering to their mother, their father, to you that birthed and raised catastrophe. Crunch, crunch. The craters of Progeny are too congested. You try to move your body, but that mammoth mound of flesh is stuck in the cave, the cracked edges of its walls painfully driving into you, and so you give up, continuing to shove food presented to you into your maw, imitating the Swarm King in your blood, destined to propagate, propagate, propagate. This sounds a bit like, there's a manhwa I'm reading called, what was it? Farming in the Tower or something? Where somebody gets stuck in a tower, a fantasy style type of D&D dungeon-esque, and he's stuck. Eventually he's able to leave the pit he's stuck in, but he's still stuck inside the tower and not able to leave to see his family. And one of the things that he has to deal with is this big, huge frog that is stuck inside a cave because her body got too big to leave, so her children still need to bring her food. It reminds me a little bit of that. It seems like a sad existence though. The rewind function goes as follows. The Divergent universe says, click, clack. It takes you a while before you're able to adapt to life without feet. They atrophied in this pit, growing soft before disappearing just like your wings and your exoskeleton did. But when you're in the darkness, a so-called long time is like a mere fleeting story. Subconsciously, you open your mouth and wait for the kids to toss shredded food in. The chunks of meat are injected with digestive juices and melt on your belly like ambrosia, reforming into their brothers and sisters. But something seems a little different today. A strong sense of dread permeates the wing-flapping waves. There are 3 options. All 3 options are saying, I am starving. You let out an uncharacteristic roar, but it seems that your organ responsible for that has atrophied too. A booming voice shouts before you, gleeful as it pierces your skin to suck the pus and juices that pour out. Click-clack. The glance inspire its rebellion as its rear legs smash excitedly into the shell. The 2 options are that hurts. What happened? Your capacity for thought is not enough to understand what's going on, despite the simplicity of the question. An old, dying king and a strong, hardy elite. The kids all look at it calmly as they let it kill the mother and father of the clan. It will replace you, become bloated, and let useless organs atrophy, but none of this is of any importance to you anymore. The only option you get is, I'm tired. Deep down, inside a bottomless pit, you fall into deep slumber, accompanied by the roaring buzz of the swarm as they welcome their new king. It's a really sad thing. in my opinion. Then again, it's the thing among, like, insects, it's probably you're unable to produce any offspring anymore without, like, because you're stuck anyway. So who knows, maybe the way that you're stuck doesn't allow you to produce offspring anymore, so an elite decided to take your place, who knows. This one also has a rewind. The story is Swarm King Progeny. Circling over a world already extinct, the radiating deathly rays devoured all fleshly things that once breathed, including your dying offspring. They gather into a river, wriggling across a barren wasteland. But worry not, drink of their juices, scatter your spores, and more offspring armed with piercing shrieks will be born. Their tender shells have not yet been tempered by fire, and only by being the last standing, shedding layers of their shackles, can they witness the return of the Imperator Insectorum. You have not heard their voice for too long, but the hold of time is far too weak to a Swarm King. Even if you travel to the ends of the cosmos, you would not be too perplexed by their silence. The tides of propagation do not cease. The insects are chosen between die and being killed. They will evolve, break out of their molded shells, and be reborn just like them. The Divergent universe option for this is: this aromatic new world is dotted with meatballs of all sizes. The lush green mountain can stay behind, and too comfortable an environment can cause newborn larvae to molt early. If you eat too much meat, the sweet plants can moisten your lips. However, the cloud over here is altogether too thick, and the long rainy seasons will impact the movement of elytra. You stick out the shining device in your belly, and the radiation evaporates all the water droplets inside the cloud. They float up, condensing as they hit the cold air before falling down as heavy rain. The two options you get are get closer or decrease your altitude. You flap your wings and gradually float into the atmosphere just like a sun. Enemies who try to draw close will be vaporized in an instant. It's a pity because you don't want them all to vanish like this. Their larvae will starve. You reduce the intensity of the radiation slightly, but the scorching flames still keep rising up from the ground. The boiling rain falls to the ground, evaporating as it hits high-temperatured solids and circulating through the biosphere. The only option you get is get ready to attack. The radiation or the radiance of the scorching planet flickered in the starry night sky, drawing the bugs to its light. The donut-shaped pheromone distribution guided them into a spiral-matching route, and the shell blotted out the sky, casting a shadow on the surface of the planet. All the steel creations capable of counterattacking have now been paralyzed, and the bugs now plunge into the sea, greedily guzzling down on the creatures that hide in the water. You get two options saying start eating and rest a while. You lay on the ground. Heavy rain continues to fall, smacking onto your back and evaporating into steam. Truly an extraordinarily warm moment. I guess the thing between a warm moment for humans and insects is an entirely different thing. Pacifist Worker. One mistake. A mutation over countless transfers of genetic information has allowed the sting within its eggs and case to obtain what it is, in a sense, a perfect body. You secrete mucus, anchor your body to the reef, and casually filter the sands in the water around you. As the sunlight penetrates the water's surface, it activates your dormant cells, and they provide your body with endless energy. You are left with no need for nutrition and no need to move. Your offspring litter the ocean floor, but they pose no harm to the ecology. A passing jawfish gouges up a nearby shell in its teeth, but you remain unmoved, only casually enjoying the positivity offered by a completely self-sustaining existence. An armored mollusk nibbles half of your body away, but you remain unmoved. Your body will grow back slowly, and all you need to do is enjoy the sunshine. A pacifist who doesn't fight back. It sounds like a sad existence though. It says that he's being eaten alive, that he doesn't really care, that he's just enjoying the sunshine, that he will grow back slowly anyway. If he gets eaten faster than he can regrow, it just means that he's going to disappear. The next story is Diabolical Worker. Clang clang. As you clean your sharp claws with your saliva, your compound eyes lock onto your targets. There are many of them, and they smell sweet. You leap through the meteorite camouflage and arrive through the iron block. Before your food senses your presence, you tear through its flesh and call out for the children that wait to be fed. Your glands begin to shake uncontrollably, secreting hormones that send excitement coursing through your body and strengthening your limbs. You bite at the iron arm flying toward you, lacerating through its flesh in an instant and letting the light drops that fall like rain shatter your wings. You let out a roar, simply eliminating all sources of heat ahead of you. For species, death is a concept that has never existed. Their voice comes forth from your neuron ganglia, ordering you to abandon everything and destroy even the sharpest spike of your prey. Probably from a different swarm, maybe? It sounds like they are able to make sure that they can't be heard, and they're more of an ambush species. Phantom Larva. Hunger gnaws at you, and tremors ripple through your neural ganglia. As you prepare to abandon your hiding place in the asteroid belt and pounce on the prey ahead, a surge of higher authority signaling abruptly overtakes your primal urge. Frustrated, you rub your mouthpiece against the rock, saliva eroding small craters into its surface. Then, you begin to hyperventilate and the light surges in your abdomen. A beacon to lure your prey begins to glow ominously. Lethal injuries rain down upon you, your wings sublimate. Kirai shattered on impact. In a desperate bid for survival, you flee deeper into the asteroid belt, where more and more prey are lured in. You know that death awaits you, a brutal dissection into countless pieces. Yet, you also know that your kin lurking in the shadows are no longer concerned about exiting you. The prey hunting you is about to plummet to the bottom of the food chain. So, the Phantom Larvae, I think, has to do with the Phantom Worker, all the way at the top. It sounds like one of them gives themselves up for the others to be able to feed. Which makes it a normal thing to lay hundreds and thousands of eggs, so at least half of them would survive at this rate. Calamity Remnant. Give the moons honey and the stars song. You swallow the tasted dust and flap your wings, moving forward in weak gravity. Wailing offspring are suspended in their vesicles, huddling together with their claws hooked into your belly, instinctively urging you to secrete sustenance through pain. You churn the cold, hard, inorganic matter into debris, your digestive tract squeezing out the last remnants of life within your body. Nutrients flow out of your body and turn into the molasses that nourish your species, but the offspring are growing so rapidly that you can no longer meet their enormous nutritional demands. Even walking with vesicles begins to feel like a struggle. As an arthropod, you realize you have reached the end of your mission. You collapse to the ground, tearing open your shell, your eyes reflecting the scene of your body being gnawed. The Calamity, it reminds me of the Child of Calamity thing, where they eat anything and everything, and there's so many. It sounds like a sad existence though, and as I said at the start, it's all about insects, it's all about the swarm. Star Molding Worm. A new cycle of planetary spin and shift in the magnetic field beckon you to open your eyes. You gather your saliva and meticulously bind together a barrier at the edge of your nest. Translucent gelatin congeals into mush in the vacuum as you extend your cilia, kneading the clumps and shaping them into pathways and barriers, waiting for them to solidify into unbreakable crystals. The newborn descendants rest in the fortress, nibbling on the aging crystals, their molting juices resembling honey. Adult scions traverse the pipes, shredding the carcasses of hunted lepismae into chunks that become your family's sustenance. You observe grotesque beings constructing dwellings in your nest, yet, alas, they are absent from your natural diet. The light of stars cascades onto the surface of the nest, and the gravitational position stabilizes. You close your eyes gently, waiting to enter the next time when you awake, ready to forge your next asteroid. This one I've unlocked the extrapolation rewind for. Another sidereal day. A microscopic life form from another land paints colors on your skin. Triumphant return. It is a pattern unique to their culture. Their movements seem to communicate information on excitement, feeding, and hunting. They do not share in the prey that you bring in with your offspring. To the contrary, you are pleased to see that they are attracting more insects to your location. This act of taking pleasure is the most intellectual attitude function you have developed during evolution. The options I get are continue feeding, wriggle, or stay completely still. Continue feeding. They construct an outer shell for your nest to protect it from natural predators. Sharp horns protrude from the carapace, occasionally emitting heat and flames. They live inside these horns. Occasionally you will offer excess saliva to them to help fortify the horns. This way your offspring will have a warmer nest to live in. For the prosperity of the next generation or for greater survival. I'll go for the prosperity. Although they are constantly doing things that you cannot understand, your brain proteins were not designed to handle problems such as these. They leave footprints on every celestial body you create, and these footprints will bring greater offspring. But this is also a question that you cannot handle. You wish to create a home for your children, to allow the blood of your species to continue on. You often hear them calling out slogans like coexistence and co-survival. I don't disagree, I like this life, or I have no mental capacity to question this. I'll go for the latter. Your limp body sinks into the nest, flowing down through tunnels. The transparent outer shells crafted by alien creatures have fortified the passages as they stand by, admiring your sinking form. All you long for is a good sleep. It sounds like the star molding worm is stuck in some sort of zoo-esque thing, you know? See-through things where people are looking at what's happening. It sounds like a zoo. Either way, this is the end of the propagation. All of the stories had to do with insects, and I actually wanted to know what the meaning is of propagation. Propagation's actual Oxford Languages Dictionary says the breeding of specimens of a plant or animal by natural processes from the parent stock, or the action of widely spreading and promoting an idea. So it seems to have to do with keeping sure that you breed your specimens further, that you make sure that they're safe and things like that. Either way, the next one I'll be recording as erudition. I apologize for my voice being a bit creaky. I have the flu again, it's the season. But you know. Next one I'll be talking about will be erudition, and from then on it will be preservation, remembrance, and so forth. I'll try and finish them all before the rework. So if I record a couple with the same voice, it means I had to record them on the same day to make sure I was able to do it in time. I apologize for the voice. I hope you guys at least enjoyed the stories that I was reading, and I'll see you guys next time. If there's anything that you think of that I should be reading as well, please let me know in the comments. Please leave a like or a follow. Likes help people see this more. It gets offered to more people with the same interests, and following allows to be able to see when I next upload. So thank you for being here. I'll see you guys next time. I hope you have a nice day, evening, night, or morning. See you guys. Bye.